learned a lot during our 2 months here in Washington, D.C. And a lot of repetitions of threes when we speak, when we write our speeches. There's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. Try to form things with threes, having the third one as a punch. But playing off Rawan's wild man coin phrase, I'm going to try and break that rule and move into four, so that I can express perhaps my perception of why our phenomenal team seems to be phenomenal. So myself as well, I've been super duper privileged to be staying with Joyce Schwartz, together with Rawan and two other fellows, one from Ireland and one from South Africa. So 6 major characters in one home. It's a lot going on. But for me, noticing Joyce and her incredible passion to be there for us, I was able to observe a lot of this from the kitchen, because Joyce is an incredible cook. And we would spend a lot of time in the kitchen. I think that looking at her kitchen as an example, perhaps, for certain qualities and conditions that enable her kitchen as a metaphor, or New Story leadership as a concoction of attributes to be so successful, just on a program level. And I'd like to mention a couple, so that you perhaps can understand why we feel so in love with one another. That's a big word, but there's so much emotion towards one another in this team. It's so exceptional. So the first one I want to shortly discuss is the attitude of the fellows, right? So a lot really comes from us and what we're willing to put in. And so I've been part of a lot of programs that bring Palestinians and Israelis together. But I think that the fact that, for example, we paid for our flights, we're financially invested in our own experience here, is one concept that stands out to me when I think about it. I think that Paul, the management team, and the board have selected a group of very mature adults, which is also something very difficult to do in a reality where there's so many other distractions and desire to satisfy our needs of the now, because you don't know what's going to hold up in the future. This is an intelligent group, a very confident group, as you've seen, and I think you'll see in the next couple of speakers, and a very compassionate one. So that's just that first concept that I've noticed in Joyce's kitchen of the NSL. The second one is the conditions that surround us. So if we look at the fact that the host families, and Sapir started talking about it, and myself and Rawan, these are amazing people, opening their homes for almost 2 months to strangers that they do not know. And as I told Joyce yesterday, we had a dinner, of a farewell dinner to the fellows. And I found myself thanking her for satisfying not my needs, but my desires. I'm a 27-year young man, and living by myself, I don't usually go out to pleasure my desires when I have a certain amount of money. I'm looking to satisfy the needs of my existence so I can move forwards. And Joyce and the other host families, what we need, they're there for what we want. It's an amazing feeling, and I think that really necessitates a lot of thankfulness. I think that the fact that we have as much food as we need is something that maintains our persistence and our long schedules during the day. We have a warm bed, we have an incredible management team, and we have a group of volunteers on the board and off the board that just sit down and work us day in and day out, teaching us what they know from their lives so that we could be better leaders back home. And this is coming from their heart, and that's an exceptional concept as well, which I do not experience back home on a frequent basis. So to that I'm grateful as well, and I think we all are. The third part of this amazing kitchen is the support of our audiences. How many people here are here for the first time? Raise your hand, please. No, but raise it high like you're proud. And how many people are here as returning audiences? Raise your hand, proud as well. This is what makes it happen. Hazar spoke a second ago about the fact that even though we have stories, if no one's listening, then it's not a story. And the fact that people keep coming back, and people, I met Chris at an office at a senator on the House, told him about us, and he's here. People want to hear, people give us that energy to keep standing up day in and day out. We're talking to audiences, and we're passionate, but people want to receive what we have to say, and that's an incredible feeling. The fourth and the last one from this kitchen of Joyce is the positive approach. We come from a region where there's so much cynicism, there's so much doubt, and there's so much negativity constantly. People like us, for me to stand up here and people have come up to me and to others and said, "You speak so well," it's a lot because of the people that are surrounding me here. To speak up as I am right now back home, people are they're gonna shun me. They're gonna make me feel this small. Why would you even say these things? Why do you believe these things that you're saying? But there's this positive aura around us, and if we're able to propel this forwards, when we go home, this is unstoppable, and this is for us to do. Our work placements, for example, I'm so privileged to work on the Capitol Hill of the United States of America. I go in on a daily basis wearing a suit. I haven't done this since my bar mitzvah. But I walk with my suit to work, and I'm seeing Bernie Sanders walk past me today. Just like that. And I'm able to approach anyone I want and discuss with them whatever I want. Mind-blowing. And the concept of having a work placement, of getting this opportunity to understand how the clock ticks in the United States and how it affects the rest of the world blows my mind. So we've covered the kitchen, right? But there's a certain recipe for a dish, and we are the dish, right? This is the 2017 NSL dish, and I'd like to express to you what I think are the super duper delicious ingredients that make us successful. So here they are. 4. So listening. We have the genuine desire to listen to one another. We come together once a week, sometimes with help of others, and sometimes because we want to, but we sit together and we listen to each other for about an hour. One person speaks, everyone listens, everyone respects. Unheard of back home. Amazing. We are genuinely interested to listen to one another. The second thing is empathizing. We are empathizing with each other on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. We've heard stories, some of you have heard stories as well, of very painful experiences that we've gone through. And we share them because it's important that we hear them out, that we tell them and others hear. But the fact that Hashem is able to share a story about his past and that pain that he carries with, and for us to embrace him, that's amazing. It's truly amazing. And this empathy that we're able to exhibit is something that we carry now and we carry as individuals. I know this regardless of this team, of NSL. The third one is that all participants treat each other as equals. Now this sometimes may seem obvious to you, but back home we know that there's asymmetry back home. And Rawan just spoke about this as well. I mean, we're here and we're able to do things that we can't do back home, and this concept of equality, true, honest equality, is elevating. And we do this. Other people may decide not to because my voice is more important than others. But if you're able to be with us, a fly in the room, when we just chat amongst ourselves, it's inspiring. And the fourth one is that we feel compelled to support one another through our ups and downs. And that again, back home, if I throw myself back into Jerusalem, and I'd like to just illustrate quickly a scenario which Hashem shared with me in Noah Baum's workshop. Noah's here today, of how to storytell. Hashem is our Palestinian fellow, a very brave man. And I sat about 30 centimeters away from him. I don't know how much that is that's 1 foot. I think it's a foot. Working on it. Sitting a foot away from him, looking him dead in the eye, and he is sharing with me a painful story about when he's walking through the streets of Jerusalem, no matter what day it is of the week. And border control, the IDF, just decide, because they have that small fear, because he's dark-skinned, that he may be a terrorist, and they pull him aside. I'm not going in deep into the story because it'll take some time to give it justification, but Hashem's telling me how the policemen are overwhelming him with questions in Hebrew that he's not able to respond to. He's taking everything out of his pockets, everything he has possible. His keys, his bag, his dignity is on the floor. And he's sharing this with me, looking me at the eye because he knows I'm genuinely listening to him. And when he's finished telling me this story, and I've seen this happen time and time again living in Jerusalem, I was asked to repeat that story in front of my teammates. And I was able to do that because I recognized his pain. I wanted to amplify how unjust this is, and I knew that my fellow teammates would receive it and embrace it and work to change it when time will come. And I want to take this note and as a declaration here, because it's not just about the talk, it's about the walk, right? You know what that means? There's a lot of Australian accent in there, but not only talking the talk, but walking the walk. And when we go home, it's about what we're actually going to do, what are our actions. And I've seen people, Palestinians like Hashem in my city, Jerusalem, which we share, who keep getting stopped time and time again, and no one is stopping. No one is lending a hand. And so I printed this, and I'm going to carry this with me in my bag. And in Hebrew it says, Ani kan itcha, and in Arabic it says, Ana hayni janbak, which means I'm here with you. And when Hashem will be standing, being interrogated by policemen and soldiers, and I won't be physically able to help him, I will stand there, and I will show this to him, so he will know that he has an ally who's there for him. This is my pledge to all of us. If we take those first letters of each of the words that I just shared, listening, empathizing, treating, and support, there's a new word, and the word is let's. So I'm going to use that word to sum up my speech. And what I feel when I recognize the potential of this word, I thought to myself, in NSL, it feels natural and correct to listen, to empathize, to treat, and support. NSL lets us create a different ending to a repeated story. It lets us do this, and I will take this back, and I will make a change.